Hello and welcome to the second episode of The Better Meta. Today we're going to be talking about the impact of Dark Neostorm on the modern format. Coming up in today's episode. Vlad plays Sky Striker.
I've never played Striker at locals.
No, never since you played it solo.
Billy bans Area Zero.
I want Area Zero banned. Is the deck still playable then?
Did you say Area Zero?
Cormac dies.
I think that's the issue that Orcus has had up to now. Because no.
And Alfie eats some donuts.
Day-to-day conversation. Jesus Christ.
Well, welcome, very illustrious duelists. So, I brought everyone here to see if we could discuss some obviously very important meta topics. And
and we all seem very, very, composed.
Yeah, super into it. We've invested a lot of time and research putting together this team, obviously. Today's point of interest is Dark Neostorm and how it's going to affect the meta. So I have a list of 8 questions, and I have no expectation to get through 3 of them, I'll be honest.
Okay, cool.
Good, because the bar should be set.
Yeah, so the first topic I'm going to throw out to you guys. Feel free to discuss or just ponder it for a bit and then submit your answer. First question is, what is the most influential card or set of cards that are coming out in Dark Neostorm?
Card or cards?
Yeah, exactly. Card or set?
There's actually quite a few super meta influential cards. There's there's Cherubini, which is just insane for toolboxy combos and just BA and Phantom Knight decks in general. Then you've got the New World Legacy Synchro, which is just Danglong 2.0. Then there's the new Orcus cards, the Counter Trap and the XYZ. Both are just ridiculously insane.
Yeah, they're really good.
Pretty good.
Then there's the new the Crusadia Mech Knight Link guy. He's just really good, just a good generics Link monster. Then there's what else is in the set?
Rhoda for Cybers?
Yeah,
Oh,
there's
sign up
sign up.
mining, yeah.
There's
You do have
sign
to
up
discard
mining as
one
well.
for that
Yeah.
one, right? It's not a huge deal.
Yeah,
It triggers your Salmon Greats.
Kind of cool.
Yeah,
And Manhunt's in the set as well. The card it's just a trap mind control.
Is this the set? Sorry, I might have missed it. Is this the set with the field spell that's everything is slow?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there's
the
also
generous
Mashodo.
ones.
Yeah, that card is insane but don't put that on the podcast.
Oh my god, no.
don't talk about that card.
Yeah, I remember reading Mashodo a while ago, and then earlier on today I was going through a whole bunch of the cards in the new set just to sort of refresh my memory, and I reread the card and I was just like, what the hell is this? Why did they print this? This is so stupid.
That card's crazy. Imagine if it's just a common, and every Timia locals is just playing Mashodo and their stupid chain burn deck, and you just want to die.
I can imagine it as well, to be honest. Yeah, I'm just no. But at the same time, I can imagine it being the random secret rare, Inspector Border for those sort of stun decks.
Mashodo's kind of interesting, but I don't think there's anything right now that could use it apart from. But
Shh, top secret.
no joke. The card's actually just.
Yeah, I think it's something that could be potentially abused in the future if a deck plays a field spell, and then you could tech in one of it. If it's a sort of a Flogetti deck that has a field spell. I'm trying to think of something like that could be a thing. The first thing that came to mind for me was maybe something like Altergeist, because before they'd play Secret Village, but if the meta if Striker got hit in the next ban list, for example, they could then play something like this with their trap cards.
I mean,
and then
we used to see a lot of decks that would side one Necro Valley or something if they played a lot of field spells already. But
yeah, the same sort of idea. I think it'd be another option if terraforming was at 3, but at 2 it's still an option you could potentially mess around with in those sort of stun decks. I mean, I hate the card, but you have to respect that it is a good card and it will probably see play at some point in the future. I don't know if it's going to be immediately, but
yeah, fair enough.
I guess there's also the new the really cute hand trap, the dog. But there's also a female on it for some reason, but all I want is the dog.
What is it? Null there?
It's a female.
Null.
Yeah.
This
Is
card
it another hand trap in it as well?
Interesting. It's in the following set afterwards, I think.
It's a kind of funny one.
Italy is.
Italy, sorry.
yeah.
I thought you meant the one that they announced 2 days ago.
No, the Italy.
The utterly, yeah, the level 9, that's in the set as well. I don't like that. That's another interesting card, but again, I don't know.
Not very good though. Like it just means that like that card's existent means that whenever there's like a U-Link deck, that deck just gets bodied by this. Like it's just a one-card FDK, but it's also like really cool because for whatever reason they made it a fairy.
What?
And like fairy's a cool type, so
yeah,
like
it's cool. It's something I think could be a cool side deck option if we get into those sort of degenerate U-Link formats at one point. When I was looking through the set...
Hello? My audio has just cut out.
Flood from last year's sort of summer set is that it has a lot of really good like generic cards that can be played in a whole bunch of decks. Obviously, Flood...
One of the most nuts like parts about the set is that there's actually just no new archetypes, and that's kind of like strange.
Yeah, like no like brand new archetypes.
Yeah, there's literally zero. It's like crazy.
Yeah.
We were talking about it in one of our chats, and we're like, "Is there any new archetypes in the set?" And we're like, "Huh, there isn't. It's just like support for previous ones because there's like Dino Wrestler support, there's Assault Mode support for whatever reason, like Super Quantum.
The Assault Mode cards are actually kind of cool, and I want to talk about them in a bit. Destiny Hero are cool. Obviously, the Orca stuff that we brought up. We're going to get obviously more Danger and Time Thief things when they're eventually announced there.
Yeah.
The issue that I found with this set and a lot of the recent sets is that it doesn't feel like there's any really strong archetypes that have really come out of the gate out of a lot of them. Yeah. Like if you think about the last couple of recent decks, it's been like Sky Striker came out of a not core set. Salamangreat was a structure deck for the most part. Like Thunder Dragon is the only really sort of core set meta deck. Like outside of like Orcus, I guess. But that's more like an engine that like facilitates combos. Like Thunder Dragon is the only really meta deck we've had out of a core set in this season.
But even
which I think is kind of weird. Sorry?
If you think of the past year, like the only other decks in the past year have all come from Code the Duelist.
Yeah, like Goki and Trickstar. Yeah, exactly. Like it's really weird.
Crazy.
And I think that's not to further this into a balanced discussion, but as a sort of aside, I think that's kind of the reason why we've seen not very strong hits on a lot of the decks that have been around for the past like 8 or 9 months at this stage, because there's not really been a deck that you could say is ready to like take over in the forthcoming set once those decks get hit.
Yeah.
So like we've kind of been left in a stage where there's no real decks that are coming to the fore. So like it's more so adding these new generic cards that kind of shape up the format in small bits, and then every once in a while, maybe in a side set or maybe a structure deck like Salamangreat and Striker, you get your one new deck that sort of introduces something properly meta into the game.
It kind of reminds me of in Duel Links, they do this a lot where like a set will either have like a tier 1 deck that like changes the entire format, or else the set will just have like 1 to 2 staples and it'll sell just for those 1 to 2 staples. The TCG for the past year has either been, it's a chase set like the Sky Striker set and like the Soul Fusion and stuff. But other than that, all the other sets have just been like, here's like a hand trap. Like you had Flawed. Flawed was good money set in general, but it was like 2 hand traps in one set. Obviously, it was going to sell.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then you think like Cybernetic Horizon was pretty much
3
the ball
hand traps, actually. You're forgetting Red Reboot, Billy.
Oh, yeah, and what kinetic... Sorry.
No, that was an expo. That was an expo.
And then the other thing is like what's the Savage Strike? Literally, it's like Phantasma. Okay, and literally like
even Pot didn't have a major influence on the meta.
Like no one's picking up Extravagance anymore. No one's playing it anymore.
And I feel like this is a set that's very similar. But anyway, go on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, this set is like the last few bad ones we've had, just kind of like emphasized. Because even the support cards we're getting are like support cards for decks that don't really like need 1 card of support. They need like an extra 5 or 6, you know.
They need like a dragon for them, basically. Is what I'm
or they need like a helix or something.
Yeah, exactly. Something that like really breaks the deck open or like is the missing link to it all. Yeah, for sure. Like even when I'm looking at the Orcus cards, particularly the New XE and the Counter Trap, those cards are really
two new
strong.
cards for Orcus.
Oh yeah, I thought there was like some other random monster. I didn't really check.
No, there's...
Sure. But yeah, so I was looking at these, and my first thought was that these cards are really good, but they don't necessarily improve your consistency or your ability to play through hand traps with the state of Orcus is now, which I think was like kind of an issue when I first saw it. It would make it so that if the deck gets hit on an upcoming ban list, it has other ways to play the game, which I think is a fair thing to introduce. And like obviously the deck is doing really well in the OCG. Obviously the OCG is very different, but it's a telling that like these cards are very strong in the deck. But unless we see like a major shift in how this deck works, such as a ban list banning certain cards in the deck, it doesn't feel like it'll bring the deck up to like tier 0 status or anything like that, which I think is something that a lot of people have been fearing, and I don't necessarily think that will be the case.
Well, it seems like you probably need an intervention of a different archetype that makes the deck playable, right? Like we've seen the water innovation. And...
Yeah, exactly. I feel like there has to be something like that. Like I think stuff like the water deck was quite cool because it showed that you could, if you just any extender then end you on additional negate. Actually, on a similar point to this, there was another new couple of cards in the set which I found kind of interesting. Because I saw them being played a bit in OCG Orcus decks, and they're the new Assault Mode cards, particularly Psychic Reflector, which is a level 1 Psychic Tuner. That says when it's normal or special, you can add an Assault Mode Activate or a card that lists Assault Mode Activate on its card text, and then you can target a monster that lists Assault Mode Activate in its graveyard, and then special summon it. So then with this card you can add like so you can like add Assault Beast, pitch Assault Beast, get Assault Mode Activate, summon back the Assault Beast, and then you can do your Orcus combo and then have your discard. Or what they do in the OCG is to make Needle Fiber with it, and then do Jet Synchron and do stuff like that.
Oh, fun!
Well,
always
it's
fun
a little
to make.
If you think about it,
little bit.
Maybe we've talked about it a little bit already. Is any one deck likely to become a problem after the release of DANE?
Yeah, Destiny Hero Mate's broken. Joking. There's no deck that will be a problem after DANE, probably. Depending on like what the TCG exclusives are. I guess the imports and TCG exclusives. Because like
so Cherubini's not a problem then.
No, Cherubini's not even that general, honestly. Like, it doesn't do, like, a whole lot, because there's so many hand traps currently in the meta. And there's not, like, that many broken things you can send off of Cherubini that would actually do anything.
Oh my god.
Like, Alfie, what did I say?
Anyway. Speak for 15 minutes, and then he just started eating.
Like, with the new Orcus cards, it doesn't actually fix any of Orcus' problems, so it doesn't really change the meta in that sense. But it does open up like a lot of new like cool deck building paths to take, I guess. Because there's just like so much more like toolboxy stuff we can do. But also we need to see what the new Time Thief cards, Valkyrie cards, the new Danger card, I guess, and like the TCG imports, the OCG imports rather, look like to like be able to give a better answer.
Yeah, it's true.
I feel fairly certain that something like the Musketeer link would be in this set as well, because there's Musketeer cards in this, in the core set.
I love that card so much.
That card it's
so good.
It's pretty funky. When you read it, you're like, oh my god, and then you realize you have to play Musketeers to make it viable, and it's just not worth it. But other than that, it's fine. When I was looking through some of just the generic cards in the set, I didn't necessarily think that there would be any cards that would make a particular deck that we already know about or is kind of hovering around the meta broken. Mm-hmm. But it's more a case of there could be cards that could be abused if things get hit on certain ban lists. So what card that I thought was quite interesting was this new level 1 dragon monster, Fairy Dragon Larvalar. When it first was announced...
Yeah.
Thanks for the input, Alfie.
It actually opens up a lot of interesting ideas here in the TCG, because being a level 1 dragon, you can summon it off of the Guard Dragons. It can be used for Guard Dragon links, and it can just it can increase consistency in decks and let you like access a whole bunch of things. And I think with the hieratic link as well coming out in dual power, it lets the Guard Dragon cards not be so prohibited in what you can do with them, because they won't be just stuck on the board anymore because you can just link them off into the hieratic link.
The dragon cards are a bit ridiculous, and that fairy dragon card is actually spooky because it searches like Levineer and stuff. The art of that card's like really nice too, but I won't like go in too much into it.
Yeah, it's hench.
So I just checked the Konami thingy page
For Dark Neostorm.
It doesn't say anything about dangers.
They said in
But it says a
Savage Strike.
dangerous spell card that lets you escape from the clutches of a massive monster and only find yourself something smaller and possibly fiercer. So I'm assuming it's like...
Dangers of getting unhonest. You discard it.
No, it's
discard the spell.
Rid of your opponent's monster, but gives them something else.
But yeah, so like, as of what we know now from the set, I don't necessarily think there's any deck that's going to become like a real problem for the meta like Goki became last year. We still need to see obviously the imports, and I think something like the Time Thief cards could actually be something quite interesting, because the first batch of support they got was actually quite good.
Yeah,
they just need I think they just need more cards to work with, and I don't even know necessarily what they might need. Maybe like more spells like to like help them like increase the consistency.
I think they need like an extender. That's not Winder, because Winder's way too specific to like summon itself from the hand. It'd be cool if they,
rank 5.
if they got like, I don't know, if they stick with like level 4 toolboxy stuff, that'd be cool. But I could also see them doing a Konami and just like making like level 3 support or something, and then a rank 3 XYZ, which would equally be as cool. But then I'd be scared of BA, maybe, depending on how good the XYZ is.
Do you think that Dark Neostorm in general is going to be doing enough to shake up the meta into more of an interesting state?
Nah.
Yes.
I think a ban list will probably give this set more ability to like have an impact on the meta.
At least opportunity to have an impact on the meta.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think stuff like the Fairy Dragon I was saying, and stuff like Sign Up Mining could maybe could see more play in stuff like in like, for example, Sign Up Mining and Salamangreat. It's just a card that increases the consistency of the deck.
Yeah.
But I don't think you'd necessarily play it over something like Debug. But then if they hit something like Debug, then this card becomes the most important card in your deck, because it just gives you back the consistency that you would have lost, for example.
All I'm saying is, if they put Destiny Hero Militia 3, cash me playing Destiny Heroes for Euros. Don't quote me on that, but I'll probably play it for regional.
I mean, we have video proof of you saying it now. So.
That's true. It's all recorded here.
I think this format's actually fairly diverse as of right now. Like, there's 3 main decks, and there's other things you can mess around with, like Subterra and Orcus.
Yeah, definitely.
So I don't necessarily think there's like the format will become like 7 different decks that'll all be like on the same power level or anything like that. I think a ban list would be more likely to cause a bit of a shake-up more than anything else. Yeah, I was just gonna say there's a new Dino Wrestler that's like a level 2 Earth Tuner.
Yeah,
that's searchable off of Fossil Lake, and my first thought is just, this card could be so abusable to just make like Nat Beast so much more consistently. Yeah.
You know what's also really funny, by the way? That card says you can only special summon this card once per duel.
Yeah, it's just
really this way. It's really, really random, but they knew what they were doing. Like,
to be fair though, when you're against Striker, 1 Nat Beast is all you need, so it's fine. So.
Yeah, that's all it takes.
Like, but it's weird because it has to be your first summon, and then you have to be able to like get.
So you can't go over after into it.
You can't link it off and then bring it back for like a tuning for Nat Beast. I'm pretty sure that's all it's trying to do.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Unless they release a really generic Dino Wrestler, Link Monster.
Yeah.
Oh no, I read the one that was in this set. It's not very good.
You can also make Naturia Leo Drake with that and Pankratops.
Okay, thanks.
Fun.
Leo Drake is a 3-type vanilla.
Yo, you can make Giganticastle. That's bro. Oh, it makes
fire tricking.
it makes Cloud Castle and brings back Master Diamond. That's all I'm saying.
These are definitely
No.
These are all in the
These are
same deck,
combos.
obviously.
These are future plays.
ARG combos exposed. But I'm also very excited about that new dumb World Chalice Synchro thing. That card's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
that
that
card
card's
is just
awesome.
dang long, and I can't wait for it to like I don't know. I can't wait to like play with the card and then be like, wow, this card sucks because of Master Rule 4. Guess I'm gonna go back to playing Salamangre. Whee! Like, yeah, love Yu-Gi-Oh at the moment.
Have you seen the new Altergeist synchro?
Yeah,
Oh,
terrible.
Yeah.
The new tuner and synchro.
It's really weird.
They're like
It makes like
cute.
Hextia like twice.
The new Altergeist
Yeah.
trap is like
Like,
kind of
use
cool.
It should be it.
It means
It negates traps, right?
and it
Yeah,
gets
but
traps.
on activation, you add an Altergeist monster from grave to hand.
And you also
Wait, don't you-
discard one, right?
hand to grave, and then you go like Marionette or set it, and they can activate it the turn it was set, and then you send it like Faker from like hand to grave or something, and then you just tag them out, and you can like Faker turn 1.
Oh
it's really
wow!
solid.
I have completely misread this card. This card's terrible. Never mind. Awkward moment. Wow, the foreigner can't read. Weird. Gosh darn it.
Next question.
Next question.
Meme review.
Given that there's nothing like amazingly impactful in this set, do you think that Konami filling up rarities is going to be an issue? Because people won't want to buy messes of products if all the secrets are trash.
Correct. However, they did that with Savage Strike, and that set-
Savage Strike was fucking dreadful.
Yeah. Honestly, there is like a lot of cards that they could make secret rare. So there's like Cherubini, which is already a secret rare, I'm pretty sure that we know. The World Chalice Synchro is probably going to be a secret rare. Dingirsu could be a secret rare, or the Orcus
It'll be an
trap
ultra.
card. Yeah, maybe.
I can see
And
it
then
being
there's
an
like
ultra.
Manhunt's probably going to be a secret, just because it's just like a generic stapley type card.
And then you have
and
like
then-
Null Nun.
And then Nolan's
be one.
definitely just going to be a secret, just by the like weight of doing things. And then the new Nightmare card, Italy or whatever, that's just definitely going to be a secret because it's a regional map.
Yeah.
And then like
Yeah.
Larvalar could be an ultra or a secret or a super. We can't really tell.
Signet mining is probably going to be high rarity as well. Like,
Yeah, it could be.
I could see it just because like
Yeah.
it's right after Salamangre, and it's like, oh, these people want a new toy to play with. Let's just rarity bump it.
Yeah, and also depending on what the OCG imports are, those could be secret too. The world like Chalice, the Mech Knight Crusadia Link guy, the Link 4 dude, he could be a secret too. So there is like a lot of like standout cards that could just be put as secret rares into the set. So like there could just be like a nice amount of good secret rares, which would be good to see. Because like Savage Strike was completely terrible. I've pulled every single bad secret rare from that set at this stage, and I've not pulled a single Phantasma or Extravagance. I'm not joking. There is like 8 life stages. There's like 8 TG secrets. There's like an abundance of those cards just like lying around my room,
All of these like
waiting
1
to
year
be
secrets.
smoked. Like not even. I traded a life stage for a Valkyrie Sechta. Like,
Oh god.
and the Sechta was worth slightly more. It was 70 cents opposed to the life stage's 30 cents.
Whoa.
For a
That's profit
secret
right
rare.
there.
Like, literally, Salamangre Sunlight Wolf was a €10 rare. That was like 10 times as expensive as the secret rares from that set. Doesn't make any sense, dude.
Yeah,
Just
there's
doesn't
stuff on
make any
them.
sense.
That's it. Like really bad. That card should have been a secret rare. They would have made so much more bank from it. But anyway, this isn't a Savage Strike discussion.
Yeah. Also,
What's comparison, right?
Yeah, that's fair. I think this set will probably have like better high rarity cards overall, because I think like you can't just have 2 sets full of 6 bad secrets. I think that's just people just will not buy your product if that's the case. But I think this set, like it from the outset, it doesn't look like it has a very well, I mean, there's stuff like Cherubini and the World Chalice Link that could be like standard cards that could be used in a lot of combo decks, but there's nothing that you immediately say like before it comes out, like Eradicate, that card is immediately, you can tell its impact straight away. Like there's no like card like Bull Sword or no card like Double Helix, even though it was an ultra.
So obviously, after this release, we've said it's not going to be super impactful, but it might have some influence on the meta. What are your opinions of potentially one of the best decks following the release of DANE?
What's the best deck after Dark Neostorm, or the best deck from
if you
DANE?
can share it, if it's not top secret information.
The best deck after DANE, it's either going to be Salamangreat or like an Orcus deck, but like not like a very combo heavy Orcus deck. I could see like the deck going a more like control-y type route, because Dingusu is just like such a plus card when it resolves.
Yeah.
And like you don't really have to commit that much deck space to like, you can just like play like an Orcus engine with like which also means you can just play like a few like a bunch of hand traps if you want or whatever. Because like what happens is, if you play it as like a glass cannon deck, then the problem is that you lose to every hand trap under the sun, aka just artifact Lancia ending your turn. Or like Skullmeister or something like that.
Orcus becomes like a real deck after the set that you can like grind back and forth against stuff like Salamangreat. Whereas up to now it's been very much like Vlad was saying, it's sort of glass cannon, like as a thought turbo sort of deck that if you get hand trapped once just kind of die.
Is this assuming we're getting a list as well?
I mean, it's pretty much guaranteed, right? They said it
Yeah.
later.
I'm ignoring that Striker exists. Like, if you've noticed, I have not noticed that I've not said the two words together in this whatever minute call, because I just refuse to like just believe that deck is still around. Deck is literally for mouth breathers. Like, it's insane, dude.
I have proof of Vlad playing Striker not 2 weeks ago in locals.
I've never played Striker at locals.
No, never since you played it for locals.
No. Shit, I did. No, I played a game of a Striker mirror. I'm retarded.
I remember you saying
playing Striker at like.
Oh wait, no. I played Striker at Coogan's going away thing.
You played Striker months ago at locals.
I've never played at locals. Anyway. Anyway, Orcus or Salamangreat from me, best decks, probably. Assuming also banless, but there also could be some danger, thunder, drag. Well, maybe not the thunder dragon part, but just like danger
Chaos
plus dragon.
parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see Thunder Dragon still existing in a month's time. I think whatever hit they will get will be quite minimal.
So would you put them at the top?
Dark matter.
That's what I mean. I think the hit will be like not the Thunder Dragon.
Yeah. No, Thunder Dragon. The Thunder Dragon deck sucks. However,
I think they'll hit like the dragon part, if anything.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope they minimalize the danger engine into a package that
I think the sets sell more.
Like I really like each of them at one, but I don't think that's plausible.
Yeah.
On a list. I think it's still gonna be solid. I think it's still gonna be. I don't know about Striker. I think it could be like not played for the first few weeks, and then people realize it's playable again, like last time, where people kind of went off Striker for some reason, even though it was just turns to one.
They didn't want to play it because it's so boring, dude. It's just like, oh my god, like I've never played a more unenjoyable deck in my life.
Yeah, but I feel like unless there are more than one hit to the deck, like I want Area Zero banned. Is the deck still playable then?
Did you say Area Zero?
Not Area Zero, the other one, multi-roll.
Yeah, okay, right. Because I was about to say, banning Area Zero is like banning like Salamangreat Foxy. It's like, what does that achieve?
Terraforming one.
What? Yo!
Oh my god.
I want multi-roll ban. I want multi-roll ban, but again, with multi-roll ban, it's not killing the deck, it's just like getting rid of the unfair card. But I feel like if they hit like 2 cards, the deck becomes dead. Like if they're like semi-limit engage anchor, the deck becomes dead. Something like, like or like semi-limiting Area Zero and something else kills
multi-roll.
Multi-roll, fuck me.
Or hitting like Kagara, yeah, I understand what you mean. After 1 or 2 weeks of the new list, people will start finding like new combo decks to play, and they'll like figure out consistent decks that'll be resilient. The ban list will inform the impact of this set more so than the actual card deck. Because at the moment, I don't think it'll have a massive influence. I think Orcus becomes like a playable deck and not a glass cannon deck.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Alfie, are you still alive?
I like how Alfie didn't like contribute anything. Just like actually.
Yeah, what's up?
Do you want to answer the final question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
his relationship.
After DANE is released, what is going to be the best deck?
Sure, True Draco.
I mean, honestly, fair, right? But you can't have Diagram and Machado on the field at the same time.
No, that's the thing though. If they hit all the other decks, Draco just actually becomes insane.
Yeah, no, he's not wrong. 2 Dracos is a full Orcus combo.
Exactly. The best deck for sure, man.
Absolutely. Well, thank you all very much for coming on and helping out.
Kisses.
Is there anything else you want to mention? Before
Destiny
we
Hero is the best.
No,
Destiny
bro.
Hero is the best deck, and everything else I said before this was a lie.
Actually, Vlad, do you want to explain what's so great about the Destiny Hero cards before we
They
duck
get
out?
Brilliant Fusion 2.
That sounds pretty good.
And if you know me, I love Brilliant.
Unfortunately, you can only summon Destiny Hero monsters to turn.
Actually, you can only summon Dark Hero monsters for rest of the turn. Special summon, for that matter. So that means you can go Fusion Destiny, send Shadowless, send Mali, add Stratos, summon Stratos, U-Link, FTK. No, but like Fusion, like the new like Destiny Hero Fusion spells a 1-card OTK, which is like sick, and it has just like a bunch of cool utility because like Dark Law destroys every deck currently. So,
That's
yeah.
true.
So there's like a bunch of like cool stuff you can do with Destiny Hero, and like they also get like this sick Link monster too, which is like Peng, because it just has like Isolde arrows and it's like Isolde's Link material, Link rate, the requirements, yeah, and yeah, and then on summon summons a Destiny Hero back from grave, and you contribute a Destiny Hero monster to add any hero from your deck to your hand with a different name. That's like sick. Like, oh, it's actually like such a sick deck. But unfortunately, Mali's at 2. Konami, on limit Mali. Come on, it's time to free my boy. Come on.
It's only a minor change on the late ban list. Thank you all very much for coming on and helping out with this episode.
Anytime.
I will spend some time editing, probably too long editing.
Yeah, unfortunately, no, like internet plus Ireland doesn't mix, or microphones for that matter.
I feel like Cormac just said something, but
yeah, I know he did, and then he cut out again.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm sorry for cutting out so much, and then I cut out ironically.
This is insane.
I think it just epitomizes how awful it's been for me this entire podcast.
Can the souls use tokens?
Yes. Hornetrons.
Right, the double dude tokens are both warriors.
Oh my god.
Whoa.
If you enjoyed this hero discussion, subscribe to the Hero Kids on YouTube.
What?
Scorpio plus Night Driver.
Oh.
Warrior. Did you not look at my list?
Oh my god.
Billy, I like honestly just...
Oh, Billy, send me that list.
The next episode, we reveal the Drill Warrior FTK.
E-Man Game exposed Drill Warrior deck.
Oh my
Hey,
god.
what does the Drill Warrior do in this deck?
It doesn't do anything.
It does nothing.
Unless you summon one from his collection.
I've been working on Black Winds recently, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh my god.
I thought you messaged into a chat being like, do any of the Blackwings have restrictions? I was just like,
This is a deep, dark chasm.
Oh, it's sick. You can Azathoth, and when you end on 2 armor falcons and
Yeah,
stuff. It's
Alfie, have you just realised that every deck can just Azathoth? Even so,
Yeah,
I'm
but
great. You can just...
It's Black Wings, it's funny.
Can I just say, this has been a great discussion about Dark Neostorm, guys? This has been fantastic.